Part of successful trading, I've always felt, is it also includes mastering the platform itself. Knowing how to set up trade entries and just knowing your way around the platform. And speed is of the essence sometimes, especially as a fast scalper, which is what I tend to favor as opposed to swing trading or position trading. And so I thought I would just take a minute or two, just show you how you can speed up some of your operations by creating a hotkey. And what you'd want to do in NinjaTrader, and we're working off of the NinjaTrader version 8, and we have the lifetime license, which gives you some added bells and whistles. But if you go up to the Tools menu, which is on your Control Center, and go down to the hotkeys, you'll see a list of all the populated hotkeys. So if, for example, if some of the drawing tools, if you wanted to put a Fibonacci retracement, you'd hit F8, or the extension of the Fibonacci, F9. These are the default drawing tools that are within NinjaTrader. But what I thought I would do is show you how I would set up a hotkey from the start if you installed an indicator such as Trade Devil's anchored VWAP, which you see right here. Now, this has already been installed, so it'll show up in your, since it's a draw tool item, it'll show up under the drawing list. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit the Alt Q. And the reason I chose that is I had looked at all the other hotkeys that were assigned, and I didn't want to overwrite anything that was already being used. So, for example, vertical line is F7. So if I had used an F7, I'd be conflicting with that vertical line. So now we have a hotkey established to print the anchored VWAP on our chart. Let me show you how that would be. Let me just hit the apply button and hit OK. And now we should be good to go. If I just simply hit the Alt Q, and you can see my cursor turn to a pencil. So if I put that, say on this low point right here, you can see that our anchored VWAP is now anchored to this recent swing low, and you can see the standard deviations as well as the VWAP line itself, the anchored VWAP. So and if I just click on this and right click, I can remove that. So let's take a look at how this might have been used at yesterday's open. This is January 18th. It's currently 8:03 a.m. Eastern Time. And if I want to go back to yesterday or any time, I'll just put my pointer right in this bar right here, not the axis itself, but the bar that's below it. And if I right click, it says go to, and let's say we want to go back to yesterday's open or so. So we'll make that roughly 9 o'clock or so. It's AM. Hit that so you can see that this takes us right back to that time. What we want to look at is the open and see whether we can spot any entries, and then go ahead and use our hotkey to put that anchored VWAP on there. So if I click up here to my initial balance period, we'll show that. So we're seeing that, and this is based on the initial balance of the first 60 minutes of the New York Open. So there's the first bar right there. Right there, you can see it says 9:33. This is a 3-minute chart, so that means that bar started at 9:30 and ended at 9:30. It's not this bar right here. That bar started at 9:27 and ended at 9:30. This bar started at 9:30 and ended at 9:33, since we're using a 3-minute chart. So there's where that would begin. That calculation of the initial balance would begin. And here we've got a low here, and we've got a high up here, and you can see that it's at 10:24 or thereabouts. And so that defines what the upper and lower range is of the upper of the initial balance. So with that being the case, let's see what we might have done as far as setting up a trade. We see that price came down after the initial 1 hour opening of the New York New York session, and it broke below that lower bound of the initial balance period. There was the low. It broke below there, gave us a low, and started to move up. And so if we thought, okay, maybe we've got a move up going here, and we go ahead and hit our Alt Q, remember that's our hotkey, and I'll put it on this low right here, and there we've got our anchored VWAP along with the standard deviations as well. And those of you that trade using the VWAP are well aware of the fact that price will often seek the second standard deviation. You can see it came up here and just actually rode it and then came back. And as a matter of fact, professional traders, Wall Street traders, are bonused for how effectively they can get in a trade close to the VWAP and in the right direction, obviously. So if we had decided that okay, we're gonna wait until this pulls back to the anchored VWAP, which would be right here, and we'll go ahead and elect to get in. So if we were to say, let's put a reward and risk tool right here. So let's say that was our entry. And we have our risk reward tool set to 0.75% as a risk rather than the often mentioned 2%. So you can see down here at the bottom it's 0.75%, that's 0.75% risk. If I go beyond that, it turns red. So there's where our risk would be, and that's using one contract. You can see the one contract, and this is just the micro contract. If you were to use the mini, then just multiply everything 10 times. But in this case, we're using a $5,000 simulated account. So our 0.75% represents a $37 risk, and our first reward level, which is equivalent, is the same $37. Again, if you're trading a mini, that'd be $375 profit, right? You see, the price came up to that first target and then pulled back down. So depending on how you manage your risk, you might have put yourself at a break even once it gets up to a certain point, and in this case that trade would have broken even. And so hope that helps you understand how to create a hotkey and also take advantage of a real powerful trading method using the anchored VWAP.